హాయ్ అండి.
Hi.
ఓకే అండి.
All right. So in the last section, we have seen what is that input elements, right? We are talking about input elements inside HTML. Okay. So with these input elements, what we can do, we just created a form. Okay, where we can place some use labels, and we can place something like um, text fields, password fields, checkbox. Sorry, and this is radio buttons. Okay, email, number input. Okay, our number input field, email input field. Okay, why I'm talking about number input field and email and password means each and every kind of input field has a predefined what do you call validation in the sense, see, when I'm trying to enter some characters on this number, it won't allow the characters to enter, it only accepts the numbers. So such kind of validation that you can find uh, for these type of input elements. And by the way, these are all comes under html5 html5 input elements only. So we have seen a button type. Of course, we haven't seen the button type. Checkbox, file, hidden. Uh, Hidden is not we have seen. We'll see some of the we have seen some of these things, and these are the new type of elements, input elements that you can see. The type equal to color, where we can place some. We can get color from the user. Date, time, local, all these things. Okay, so let's go for this one. Let me add. Um, First of all, I want to add a button here. What is that? So see, we just add a button using a independent button element. Okay, and we can add through input element as well. So if you want to get the data from user through button, then you can go for input element. If it is a normal button, then you can use this button style syntax. Okay, and yeah, and let me add. See, we have seen already some kind of date, right? Input type equal to date. This is a new HTML5 input element. Okay, let me add some color as well. If you want, type equal to color, so that you can get color from the user. It's a black color. When I click on this, we can choose any one of these. Let me click on this. Okay, so we just got the color value, and along with this, I'm going to make use of something like color. We can add something like, I want to discuss file. Let's, if you want to upload any file, you can go for the file attribute, type equal to file attribute, so that you can choose any a file to be uploaded. Okay. Likewise, this is a where you can place some file, and next you can place some image as well. In image button, no, by default image button comes as a submit button, just like a submit button. Okay, let me add some source attribute for this. So you can add any kind of element here in image here. I do have a collar, so images slash KOALA dot JPG, and I just want to place some width of 50 pixels, so that it will be small in size. So now you can see I can make an image as a clickable item. Okay, now it acts as a submit button. Okay, by default the pointer will be hand shaped pointer. Okay, so that is one thing. And yeah, one point I want to mention here is we do have something called CTA buttons. Okay, CTA means click to action buttons. So by default these buttons have some logic, okay, or some predefined execution will be there. So when I use a type equal to submit, that simple button has a logic to submit the input fields to the server. Similarly, I can make an image as a submit button and an anchor tag, okay, and a reset is also there. So all these are referred as click to action buttons. That means we are not going to write any kind of logic to or any kind of code to make it clickable or to make it as a functional button. Okay, by default it comes with some logic. So why that is why we are call it as a click to action button. Without writing any code or any logic, we are able to do some operations by using this button. So we call them as a CTA buttons, click to action buttons. And you just go through these kind of things, okay, where color, date, we have some number. Just go for this one, and let me show this range as well. uh, Range, I'll just go for this range. Now you have the range. This is the range element, so that you can gather what is the range of uh, what do you call, or what the range of cost that you are going to define for a particular item. Okay, such kind of things you can get by using this as a this kind of element. And you can have a lot of things for this range element. For suppose, now you can see this slider moving very smoothly, right? That means the increment from this point to this point is very smooth, right? So if you want to make the incrementation something like step equal to, I can say 5, there is a step attribute is there. One, two. I need to define the range first of all. Minimum range is, I can make this to be, uh, let us make it to be 10. Sorry, let's make it to 1, and maximum 10. So I'm going to define some range values 1 to 10, and I want to increment by 5 with that particular slider. Let us see. This is 1, this is 5, this is 10. Sorry, I'm not able to move this one. Why? Because it starts from 1, right? So I didn't find line. Let me make this to be 0. So that this is 0, 5, 10. 2 steps. Likewise, if you want to increase the step size, I mean, decrease the step size, you can make it as a 2. You can move the slider in 5 steps within the range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Likewise, and you can define any number of range values here, and these are some kind of attributes which will define the range values and the way of incrementing the step. Okay, okay. The next one is, that is about the range, and you just go for these things remaining are the same. And let me go for something called, we have seen image hidden. Okay, what actually the hidden is going to tell you is, if you want to retrieve user information, some kind of sensitive information without knowing to the user. Okay, if a server wants to know about your IP address, or if a server sorry, want to know about your location, or any kind of data which is not to be known to the user. So such kind of information can be uh, uh, gathered by using this input field. Okay, for example, I can take something like hidden. Okay, So what I'm going to do, I just make it as a secret. Okay, and yeah, secret. That's it. So what I'm going to do, I just place some value inside of it. So actually what is happening in our web technologies is we do have the server and we have some client system. Okay, client system. This is client, this is server. Let us assume if server wants to know about the IP address of this particular uh, computer. Okay, user doesn't enter such kind of things in the form, right? So server need to gather such information without knowing to the user, or any other kind of things like, see, for example, this is a banking application. Okay, the server is running some banking application. The server is generating a number. So banking application means definitely there has some logging time, right? Okay, session time, I can say session time. So whenever client initiates something like onlinesbi.com, okay, onlinesbi.com, okay, so it will send a request to the server. At that time, server will generate some dynamic HTML pages using server-side coding like PHP, Python, Java, etc., etc. Okay, so at that time, it's going to generate a dynamic web pages. Okay, during in that web pages, we are going to place some input type equal to hidden field, and along with that hidden field, I'm going to transfer the pages to this client. Whenever client what do you call once the pages got opened inside client system, now you can see now what I'm doing is, by using this hidden attribute, I want to place some number. Okay, let me check this one here, some kind of random number. Let us take random number. This is a session ID. I'm going to make it as, this is the session ID. Here the server is running some kind of algorithm, assume. Okay, that algorithm is going to change this number. What is the number? Here I have 40985093224. Now, once the client initiated the connection between the server and the server and client, there will be a session is going to be maintained by the server for this kind of sensitive application like online SBI.com or Gmail or Facebook, something like that. Of course, so I'm not talking about a social network application. I'm just talking about sensitive application like SBI banking application. Let us take. See, I think you heard about, you observed in our daily life. Generally, these online banking will stay. The session will stay for only 5 minutes or 3 minutes or 10 minutes, like that only. After 10 minutes or 5 minutes, the session is going to be expired. So it will show a message like login ID expired or something like that, right? Our session expired. So what actually happened is, I can do such kind of a mechanism by using this hidden attribute, input hidden attribute. So what I did is, while creating the HTML pages from the server, okay, I just placed a number in inside those pages using this input type hidden attribute. Okay, and I said send those files to this particular client. Okay, and this client is holding that number. The value is something same number. What is that? 409850324. Okay, so if client is not doing any action for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, okay, during that time, after 10 minutes, let us assume the session ID got changed. Okay, it's changed to some number like 50999. Let's make it simple. 90002. This is a number that randomly generated for the after 10 minutes. Okay, so again, if client initiates, that means if again client sends a request to the server, okay, it will check with this number. That means through using this input hidden attribute, I'm going to send again the same ID value or this session ID value to the server. Now server is going to match these two things, whether this one and this one is valid or not, or matching or not. If it is not matching, it simply disconnect the connection. Are getting? So that means by using this, we are going to maintain session IDs. Not only this, we can gather user location, user IP address, all such kind of things we can gather from the client system without knowing to the client, right? So in such cases, we can go for input hidden field. Okay, you just open your Facebook. Okay, Facebook is also capturing some data from our system. Not only capturing, that might be an algorithm is going to run inside the server, so it needs some information, so it is going to gather such type of data. Okay, keep on. So you can find, if you open the Facebook page, you will find a hidden attribute will be there. If you open a online SBI or any kind of banking application, you can find such type of hidden. Okay, of course, it might change as technology is going to change, so such kind of logics may change. Okay, let us see what happens when we go for the Facebook once again. That's about the input field, and I want to introduce something like what we have. And one important thing I want to mention here is, see, generally if you go for mobile applications, you can find something like, see, always the user is trying to see, mobile having a small screen, right? It might be a small screen. So at the time, we are not able to click on this particular text field, right? Exactly. Sometimes we are able to click this particular label. Okay. So what I'm going to do, so here, what I'm going to do is, see, when I click on this label, I want to highlight this particular text field. Okay, that is not happening. I want to highlight this text field. For such cases, what you do, you just use a for attribute, and inside this for attribute, you need to place something like user ID. You need to place some ID, UNID, and now refresh the page. When I click on this, see, it got selected. Without clicking on this text field, I'm able to select this particular text field by clicking on this username. That is the advantage of for attribute. This is very important when you go for mobile applications. Okay, we keep use this we'll keep on using these things. Okay, so when I click on this, it's got selected. Here it's not selecting. So such cases we can go for attributes. We keep on using these kind of things in bootstrap applications. Okay, bootstrap framework. Okay, is there anything I missed out? Yeah, let us go for these input validations. Now, what I'm going to do, if I place a the required attribute is a Boolean attribute, so you can remove this one. Either you can use like this, okay, and refresh the page. So when I'm trying to submit this form, okay, it will show some tooltip. Please fill in this field. Okay, so because of this required attribute, we are able to validate our input fields. Okay, we are not going to send an empty form or empty fields to the server. By using this required attribute, we can validate automatically. That is there required. Likewise, we have read only. Okay, after this, if you want to play something like read only, read only. This is also Boolean attribute. Read only means if there isn't a text. Okay, so that is only possible for the reading only, not for editing. Okay, so for this purpose, what I'm going to do, there is some kind of attribute is there called placeholder. Okay, uh, whatever the text we placed here, that will be a default text for your input fields. Now you can see username. I'm not able to edit it. Why? Because it's a read only. If you remove this read only, Now you're able to edit this one, something like that. Got it? So that is a placeholder. The next one is you can set the maximum length for the input text fields. Maximum length. If you want to allow only 15 characters, actually place that one. So you can type only 15 characters. After that, you are not able to enter a single character. Okay, that is maximum length required, read only, and placeholder maximum length. Let us see. Um, we have seen this maximum, minimum, and maximum value. These things won't be applied for your text field. That will be applied for your number. Okay, for these number ranges, if you want to define the range, then you can define by using min and maximum. In the same fashion, you can apply the minimum maximum for this field as well. Okay, the next one, autocomplete. Autocomplete in the sense, see, when I click on this, when I type anything, no, it's not getting. I'm not getting. Generally, we have a user. Okay, I think we have some. Okay, something like Satish. We just enter. Next time, it will show some text. These are the autocomplete text, right? So this will be stored by your local browser cache memory. So this will allow the auto completion of your fields. Okay, um, in the text input fields. If you want to turn it off, okay, autocomplete equal to off. Use this attribute in order to turn off the auto completion. Now type S, you won't get such autocomplete information. If you remove that and I type S, it will show auto completion text. Okay, that is one attribute. And finally, disable. Disable in the sense we are going to disable the field text field so that user won't get any attention to that particular username. Why? Because it's a disabled, so he's not going to spend time on working out what do you call clicking on this particular username field. Okay, that is called disable. These are the attributes that we can see inside each and every input fields. Of course, we have required input field for every text field, read only, and disable is all are allowed. Minimum and maximum only allowed for number as well as range. Auto completion for text field, all text fields. Placeholder can be filled for all text fields. Likewise, max length. Okay, these are the input validation, default input validations. Okay, that is about the input fields. Anything left? That's fine. So that is about the input field. And one more thing I want to place here is, uh, I want to place something like input field text area. If you want to capture multiple lines of data, okay. If you want to capture multiple lines of data, then you can go for text area. Okay, so I just created a text input field. I just want to main address, something like that. Now you can see you can get text area. This is the text area. If you want to, this text area, sorry, this is not. I'm extremely sorry. We have a text area separately, and element is there. This text area was defined with rows and columns. Rows equal to 10 rows, columns equal to 10 rows, 10 columns. Now you have text area. Likewise, we can enter some data. Let us make these columns to be 30 columns, and this is to be 8 rows. Now you can enter any kind of data here. Got it? Rows and columns is required, and you can place some placeholder, um, and you can place some text here. Enter your address, so that you can place some text here. Okay, and not only this, if you want to place any what do you call a placeholder, you can place placeholder. Enter your address. So this will look nice. I'm not able to see here in this case. I'm not able to see that placeholder just like this. The reason is, always remember, don't put any new line between text area when you are going to place a placeholder. Always use like this so that it will show that text area. Enter your address. See why? Because a single space is going to replace this placeholder. See, it starts from single space. This is one kind of issue that you can find related to the text field. Sometimes you're not able to find what will be the problem. Okay, so we keep on working on it, and you're going to spend a lot of hours in order to dig it. Okay, that is simple thing. And this is I place this text area outside of the form. If you want to place this text area inside, that is fine. Okay, or if you want to join this text area to the form, even though it is outside of the form, then you have to create something like id equal to, I think it just place for this form. You need to get a form id, registration id, something like that, reg id. In this particular text area, we just link with this reg id. So whatever the text that you are going to added in this particular field, that will be submitted. Okay, so let us suppose something like this. When I click on this, go for, do you find this? See, registration ID. Oops, I'm not getting this. Password. I think this, sorry, not name. This is form. Okay, and you need to place some name as well. Name is equal to address. So without this form attribute, you are not going to link this particular text area with this form. Okay, I can see this. Now let's try this one. See, at the last you got the address. So even though my text array is outside of the form, with the help of form attribute, we are going to connect this text area with the form element logically. Okay, so that is one kind of thing that you have to know. All right, that's fine. So that is about the input elements. Okay, so next we go for media elements. Okay, like video and audio elements. Yeah, so let us go for media elements. Media.html. So HTML5 uh, comes with media elements, like a video element is also there. Okay, audio element is also there. We can directly place our video and audio inside our HTML. Okay, so that is one advantage that you can find inside HTML5. The first advantage is all tags are semantic in nature. Semantic means meaningful tags. The second advantage is HTML comes with a lot of APIs. We will talk about those things later on. Okay. And the third one is it comes with a lot of inbuilt media tags and graphic tags, like SVG tag is there, canvas tag, so that we can directly paint on the web page. No need any third party things. Okay, so if you go to the history of this media elements, okay, so almost 1995, I think, the first video was, okay, recorded videos got played on the internet, I think 1992 or 1995, I'm not sure about that. Okay, so they successfully played a video, but in order to play a video we need some third party vendors, third party tools like WM player, Windows Media Player. We need QuickTime Player. At the time, we do find in the internet like a QuickTime Player, okay, and we need something called what was that? QuickTime. Other kind of players we can see. Windows Media Player is there. QuickTime Player is there. Mm, other one is also there. I'm not sure. Three kinds of players got very much popular at the time. QuickTime Player was introduced by the Apple. Windows Media Player was introduced by Microsoft. And what is that other one? I'm not sure. Okay. So anyway, as the time goes on, okay, after 2000, broadband connections got introduced, optical fiber connections got introduced. So high speed bandwidths and high speed data connections. Okay. So at the time, more number of connections to the internet got increased, and the speed of usage of bandwidth is also increasing. Okay, so at the time, what happened is the third party tools like Windows Movie is not that much efficient to play video to meet such kind of requirements. So they keep on updating, and we need to find and we need to figure out the add-ons, or what we can call plugins. Okay, so if you want to make use of, or if you want to watch a video, okay, with high quality, you need to go for a updated plugin for each and every player in those times around 2000 or 2005. Okay, so after what happened after 2005, of course, in the meanwhile, 2000 around, okay, Flash Media Player was a Flash player was introduced. Okay, that is given by, I'm not sure, Flash company. Okay, Flash was one of the topmost player that can be, so what I can say, that is the only way of playing the videos. It's a common to all. The Flash player is very common to all the websites, and no need of what do you call. It's very simple to install, but it needs some plugins. But it is very interesting and it's very simple to use. Okay, but it requires some plugins. Okay. Um, yeah. So Flash Media Player has been continued for 10 years from the 2000 around. Okay, 2000 to 2010. In 2010, uh, the CEO of what do you call Apple has stopped using this Flash Media Player in iOS operating systems. Sorry, iOS operating systems, iOS mobile browsers. Okay, why? Because Stephen, or the CEO has identified the usage of HTML5 video element. See, if you look at the past, we need to add every time a third party tool to the browser. At the same time, we need to search for the plugins for those tools, right? Sorry. History, we need third party tools like VM player, WM player, QuickTime. Okay, likewise, we have other one more thing is there, and we need um, updates, update for the tools every time. Call, we can call it as plugins. Okay, for the new video, you need to go for the new plugins, and you can introduce this one Flash player as well. Flash player. Okay, so in HTML5, what happened is direct video element is there. Video and audio element will be, direct video element is there. We can uh, will be placed, will be place inside your applications, okay, without need of third-party tools or third-party plugins. Even the YouTube is also using this HTML5 video element. Okay, before that, YouTube is using what do you call what do you call that is Flash Player. Okay, got it. So that is one of the advantage of going for HTML video and audio elements. The video element is similar to image element only. Uh, okay, but unfortunately, the video element comes with both closing and opening tags. Uh, in case of image, we have only single tag is there. Okay, in video elements, we have like this. Correct. So in this, what you have something called SRC attribute is there, so that you can add a video before. Now let us see whether this is gonna add to my. See, I just added my video to this particular browser. Okay, simply by using a video element. Otherwise, you need to write a lot of code at the server side. Okay, so those server side is going to run some what you call a lot of plugins, and we need to install those kind of plugins to the browser. But nowadays, you can directly place a video tag like this. Okay, so right, so I just added a video element to my HTML element without bothering about the plugins and without bothering about the third-party tools. Okay, we can directly add like this by using a video tag. And by the way, how do I play this video? We need some controls, right? So for this, we have a Boolean attribute called controls. Okay, save this and run this. Now we have some controls out there. Now when I play this, see, it's going to play. So I'm successfully loaded my video on this particular HTML file. Sorry, on a HTML browser. Okay, you can see, you can see that you can maximize it. Okay, you can increase or decrease the sound, and you can have this sig bar like this slider. Okay, and you have the time. What do you call number of minutes that you're going to play? Okay, stop and play button. All these things we have here, right? Mm. Right, that is about the controls. And if you want to increase, if you want to change the size, so I just want to make this to be 300 by 200 pixels, height to be 200 pixels. Now I'm able to resize the video element. Okay, okay, this is fine for me. And some other kind of attributes that we do find inside this video element, like preload preload. And by the way, before going to these kind of things, what I want to tell you is this video element, even though this is vendor independent, okay, the video tag is completely what do you call independent of these kind of vendors like Microsoft and QuickTime and Flash Player. Okay, but still the W3C has made this video that to be dependent on the browser. Okay, so the way it's going to look on this browser, okay, it will be different from other browsers. So for example, if you go for Mozilla Firefox, the look and feel will be different in Mozilla Firefox. Why? Because the look and feel for these video elements in different browser hand over to those particular browser vendors. Okay, still the W3C organization has made some vendor independent, like the look and feel, something like that. You can find different kind of uh, buttons and different style of seeking bar, all these things. And by the way, you can see the video format is not supported by this what do you call Mozilla Firefox. So, here I'm using MP4 format. Okay, so different browsers are going to support different kinds of formats of the video. So let us see what are those HTML5 video formats. So let us go for something like, just go for this one. Now you can see that. And I'll talk about this one later. First of all, I want some um, HTML media support video and audio Firefox. Let's go for this video. Why? Because I don't have different kinds of formats with me, so I need to get it from. This is not. I had to store these things in my. Just a second. I'll go with the other. Hmm, I need to go for media tags. Yeah, I do have the links here now. So, see, this is not supported by the Mozilla Firefox. Okay, so then you have to go for other kind of alternative, what do you call, media formats that to be added to your video element. So how do I add those things? Different kinds of sources. For this purpose, the video tag allowed you to place a source tag. So you want a source tag for individual formats. That is why the video element comes with what you call opening and closing tag. Okay, so that you can place some child elements inside between video element. Okay, now we have source. Source tag has, this is the independent tag, and the source tag had a source attribute as well as type attribute. Now what I'm going to do, I just want to collect the source. This is the internet source. There is a different kind of sources are there, like a webm format. I think this is works here. Mm, this will work. Well, both right. So this URL I'm going to take. Let's take this one. Okay, this is the internet source I'm going to use. Where is that? Inside this, you just place this one, and you can place the type will be video or webm. I'll explain. This is one kind of format webm. Okay, I'll talk about this one later. First of all, just observe this one, whether we are going to play this one or not. So if you want to place multiple sources, you can use a source attribute like this. So here we have another source, which is .mp4, and this mp4 format is of not much high quality. It is around 512 kb. Uh, um, I think it's a bit rate. Okay, so you can make use of this one. This will be played. Now let me play this one inside the browser. Now let me open this in browser. Oops. I need to remove the source attribute from this reference page. So it's downloading from the internet. Say establishing connection, something like that. Now it's loaded. Now let's play. Yeah. See, I can see some buffering here. Why? Because it's an internet video. The previous one is a local video. So here you can find some. Correct. So this is. It's a very big in size. I need to reduce the height. Height 200. Not 200. Let's make this to 4:3 aspect ratio. See, it's again downloading, connecting all these things, establishing connections. Something like that. Once it's loaded, it's going to play. I play this. See, it's playing. Let us check this whether it's working in case of Mozilla. Yeah, it's playing. Now you can see the different look and feel of your um, video element. Okay, when I play it, I'm able to play this. One thing you need to remember that the format that is going to be played in this case is not video location. I think it's video location only. It is WebM format is going to play it. That means WebM format is going to be supported in Chrome as well as Mozilla and IE Internet Explorer as well. Okay, but MP4 high quality is not going to support it in Mozilla Firefox. But unfortunately, you can see this kind of version, this version of MP4 will be played on sorry, Firefox, Chrome as well as IE also. Okay, you can play. So those type of things you need to understand what kind of format that is played in Chrome and what kind of format is not played in Firefox. You need to understand those things that can be provided by the HTML video element. Just go for this URL, supported media format. You have C, Chrome 3.0, audio PCM format is supported, yes. Verbis format, WebM format is also supported. All these are audio. Let's make it to be video VP8, okay, VP9 format, and Verbis, Opus, Theora. No, I'll explain these things. What are all these Theora, all these things, and you can see the supporting formats, whether it's supported in IE, supported in Firefox and Chrome, okay, and mobile versions are also there. So generally, when I'm talking about video element, the video element contains uh, two parts, actually three parts. One is container, video element container. This is a container. Inside we have video algorithm, and we have the audio algorithm. Okay, so when I'm talking about the container, something like MP4, MP4 means motion picture expert group. Okay, JPEG, joint picture expression expert group, something like that. So actually MP4 comes from a company called MPEG, motion picture expert group, something like that. MPEG, from this we can develop. This is high quality. And this MP4 container, the name of this entire video container, see, generally video comes along with the audio, right? So we are going to make it as a container. So MP4 comes with some kind of video algorithm called H.264. This is the copyrighted. Okay, this is a copyrighted and high quality encoding algorithm. Now you can see H.264, and the audio will be something like MP3. The video audio element for this MP4 container is MP3. So this is the container name. This is the audio. This is the video algorithm. You need to understand such kind of terminologies when you go for the video elements. Okay. At the same time, MP4 also comes with AAC. I'm not able to abbreviate this. Okay. So this is the container name. This is the audio. This is the video algorithms. Likewise, we have the WebM container is there, and we have Verbis is the video. VP8 is the audio. Okay, and Opus in WebM. These are different kind of formats. Not only MP4, we have WebM format is there. OGG format is there. In the OGG, I'm sorry, VP8 is the video, Verbis is the audio. In OGG, Theora is the algorithm, video algorithm. Verbis is the audio algorithm in OGG. What are these? What are the use of these things? This is the high quality. MP4 will comes with the high quality HD quality. This is medium quality. This is poor quality. Okay, so there should be a trade-off between these kind of things. High quality means we need a lot of buffering. Okay, so mobile applications doesn't we don't go for this kind of MP4 formats. Why? Because mobile data is very costly. At the same time, buffering is not good at mobile things. Okay, so user is not going to show much interest when we go for more buffering and all these things. So in such cases, we go for some low quality or intermediate quality. So based on the application, based on the screen size and what kind of screen we are going to use. Based on that, okay, we need to decide which kind of algorithm is which kind of container is better to place inside the web browser. Okay, whether it's a MP4, OGG, or WebM. These are the three formats that is available. For audio, we have a lot of formats are there like PCM, Verbis, this is MP3, AAC, Opus, FLAC. These are the 5 or 6 types of audio formats that you can find in audio containers. Hope you understand. So always remember, video element contains a container name, audio algorithm, and video algorithm, video encodings. We call as codecs. Okay, we refer these kind of names we call as codecs, coding and decoding. Okay, so you just go through this URL. I just want to copy this one for you. Just go through the URL. Okay, and I place this one here for the what do we call this kind of discussion. Okay, next that is about the video elements, and video elements also comes with a preload tag. So preload means when I refresh this page, by default, it's going to establish the connection, and you can see a black color what do you call indicator is showing on this particular platform. Okay, which is showing what we can call the loading loading content of the video. Okay, so even though what do you call even though I'm not going to play this video, but the video is downloading in my browser. Okay, so this will avoids the buffering. Okay, so that's good, but this is not good for mobile applications. Why? Because mobile data is costly, right? So if you make a preload option enabled in that particular applications, so it's unnecessarily downloading the videos in in mobile applications, which is a very costly. That is not good idea. So don't use preload in case of mobile applications. So in case of uh, broadband connection, that is fine. Okay, if you don't have this preload option, it won't download. It's not downloading. Of course, here it's downloading, right? I just removed this one. Now let's save this one, refresh again. It's downloading or not? Yeah, it's downloading. No, it's not downloading. It's the previous data, I think. I need to clear this one. I need to go for the history clearing. Okay, so that is the preload option. Next one is autoplay. Autoplay in the sense it will automatically play when my page was loaded without clicking on the play button. So this is a welcome video that we used in our web applications. If you want to make it as so directly, if you want to place a welcome video on your applications, you can use this autoplay. All these are Boolean attributes only. Okay, and you can play something like repeat. I think no loop. There is another kind of things called loop. Loop means once it's completed, it will automatically played. Let us play this one. It's automatically playing. Okay, and let us see whether it's completed or not. No, it's taking some time from the internet. Unfortunately, it's not a good idea to execute here. So just comment out these things. I just go for my local video, so it won't take any time to load. Test.mp4. Okay, now refresh the page. See, automatically playing. Let us count. Now you can see once it's completed, it automatically played. That is called loop option. Okay, it's automatically playing live. It's repeatedly playing these things. Okay. Okay. Now it's fine. That is about the video element. Okay. If you want to place your own poster for this video, then you can place something like dcolon dot poster dot jpg. I think. Okay, poster. No, it's not. I want to. So here I'm not able to see any poster, right? So if you want to place any poster, you can use jpeg. Yeah, this is my poster edited by me. This is the image before video is going to play. If you want to place any poster, you can use this attribute. Likewise, you have the audio element. Audio element doesn't find such kind of things. Uh, uh, it has only controls. Okay, it comes with a control like this. Only controls. Why? Because the audio doesn't have any visualization, so we can make use of this one. Okay, so that is about the audio and video elements inside our HTML. Okay, so tomorrow we will see graphic elements like SVG and Canvas. So we are going to draw some graphics on your web applications.